Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Dan Beans classic. This time with Apex Legends B-roll because it was requested by the GOAT himself. Always tuning in for the Dan Beans classics. Gotta respect it. Gotta keep the fans happy. Anyways, I didn't have work today, so I didn't really get to think about what I wanted to talk about. But I did watch the new Among Us show. And I'm gonna be honest, dude. I was shocked that it was actually not bad. It was good. I would say it was good. I really enjoyed it. It didn't take itself seriously at all, and then 100% worked towards its benefit. Cause like, I think if they tried to act like this was some serious thing, then it definitely would not have been good. Whoever the director of that was definitely knew the job they had, especially considering 90% of the Among Us like memes and references they can make are 6 years old at this point. I mean, Among Us came out in 2018, but it didn't get big till 2020. That's when I played it. That's when like everyone played it. But yeah, no, I think it was done really well. And I really like the fact that it started out a more like comedy, and as the episodes went on, it kind of got more serious, but not in a way that made you think it was taking itself seriously. And I think the plot was really good too. I I personally, I already knew Orange was the imposter because that was spoiled to me. Green, however, I was not suspecting Green because I thought it was the obvious, like, oh, the silly unpaid intern that's oh so innocent talking about worm farms. They're not going to do that, but they did the cliche option, in my opinion, in a really good way, and it caught. I'm gonna be honest, it caught me off guard, even though I kind of wrote him off because I was like, oh, that's too obvious. But no, I think for a more cliche option, they definitely did it good. I was shocked because like that's what everyone would expect, but they managed to make the expected unexpected, and that's a hard thing to do, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm just a media literate idiot and everyone saw it coming from a mile away. But after I watched the show, I was looking at what people were saying, and someone pointed out a lot of like the foreshadowing for Green, and like when going back through that and like seeing that, it's actually crazy. This was not just like they were putting hints that it was Green from the start, dude. That was honestly really good. I was shocked. That's the best way to put it. The Among Us show. If you haven't watched it, uh, I would recommend it. It's on Paramount Plus. You can watch the first episode on YouTube for free, but obviously there's other methods to watch it. I'm not endorsing them, but there are free ways to watch it. If you don't feel like paying for Paramount Plus just for ads and one TV show. But yeah, my favorite character was probably Brown, just because Beans, and I was always Brown in when I played Among Us because Beanden, Dan Beans, whatever. Uh, this was before like the maroon skin came out. That looks a lot more like kidney beans. But anyways, Brown was my favorite. He was nonchalant. He was auriful. He stuck to his morals till the very end. Not gonna spoil anything. I honestly thought Brown was the imposter. Less thought, more wanted him to be because like favoritism, but he wasn't. Sorry, that's a spoiler. I should put a spoiler warning on this because I probably shouldn't tell people to go and watch a show and then spoil it. That is my bad. I take full accountability. I'll put a spoiler warning in the title. And anyways, so I really like the fact that they had Jesse and Petra from Minecraft Story Mode, even if they weren't on screen together for too long. Like it was just really funny to see those two interact again. Because Minecraft Story Mode, I love Minecraft Story Mode. I was a kid, so I liked Minecraft Story Mode before liking Minecraft Story Mode was cool. I never knew that people didn't like Minecraft Story Mode. That was news to me. I didn't find out people didn't like it until the Minecraft movie stuff came out and everyone was mad about how that was looking. They're like, it should have just been Minecraft Story Mode. And then people were like, no, you guys hated that 5 or however long ago. God, that was a long time ago. That's over 10 years ago, I think. But no, Minecraft Story Mode was tough. I loved it. I used to watch it. I would watch every YouTuber's playthrough of it. Stampy, Dan TDM, anyone who was uploading the Minecraft story mode playthroughs, I was there. But back to Among Us, dude. Among Us was a crazy time. I remember we had this big friend group and we would all hop on, 10 people, 2 imposter, classic. Putting things on our parents that were lies, all the good stuff. And my fit was hikey a basic fit. It was brown bean, black fedora, and a suit, which apparently everyone did. So I'm not special. I didn't. Let me clarify. I didn't do it because I saw other people doing it. I did it because I thought it looked tough. But that was a common thought, because every single video you watch, there'd be someone fitted up in the black suit, black fedora, and I was honestly a menace in Among Us, dude. I don't remember crewmate too much because that was boring, but imposter, dude. Me and this one guy, if we were ever an imposter duo, I knew it was a free win. I was just really good at lying, I guess. Because I would probably say, no glaze, I had at least an 85% win rate as imposter. We always played double imposter, though, so I can't really say much on my single imposter performance, because we never really did that. But double imposter, dude, I was high-key goated. No glaze. I mean, yeah, it is glaze, but... Yeah, shut up. This is my channel. I get to say what I want, even if it's true, even if it's not true. You just have to believe me, because I said it and it's on the internet, which means it must be true, and that's what you have to understand. Anyways, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. Among Us TV show was really good. Watch it. I was a demon at Among Us. I don't really know if any other social deception games like took off like Among Us did, though. I do remember playing Mafia as a kid, which was kind of like Among Us, and it might have been where Among Us was inspired from. I don't know the Among Us lore. I do remember watching Game Tunes though, and high-key embarrassing, not gonna lie, but Among Us logic was peak. I'm not afraid to admit it. Among Us logic was peak cinema before they turned into a slot farm. Mr. Cheese, goated. But yeah, Mafia is basically someone gets assigned to be the Mafia boss or something like that. Other people get roles like the peeping girl and the doctor who can revive people. I don't know what the peeping girl's actual name is, because that honestly sounds really weird. But anyways, she would be allowed to be awake while the Mafia guy was killing. He's like the imposter. And basically, anytime that she decided to look, you know you were dead. It was basically a death sentence, and you had to pray the doctor was just gonna save you. At least how we played it. Doctor was usually the second to go if they figured out who the doctor was. We played it at summer camp, so high-key the doctors were mostly selfish. You weren't allowed to like save someone 2 times in a row, but they would just save themselves, save one of their friends, then save themselves again, over and over again. High-key lame, but I mean, we were kids. I was like 9 or 10 at the time. I'm not like, yeah, I mean, you can shame us if you want, but I think that's a little unfair. Not gonna lie with you. But yeah, that was. Oh my God! See, this is why we practice, guys. We practice so we can get better at speaking. Because there's not a thought behind my big beautiful eyes right now, other than Among Us. Oh my God, the Among Us memes. I'm surprised the Among Us show didn't make more references to the memes. I know it would have been outdated, but they really didn't go there, and I was honestly shocked. I think at this point, because the show wasn't taking itself seriously, I wouldn't have even been like, oh, that's corny. Why? Like, that's a 6-year-old meme and we're referencing it. But they kept zooming in on their feet, and I was really, and it would show like what shoes they were wearing, and I was really disappointed. I never saw the Reddit Among Us crewmate wearing some Jordans, bro. I wanted to see more references, but I'm also a little reference connoisseur, a reference purist. That's like my slop. I love pointing at things and being like, oh, I remember that, or oh my God, that's just like the game. That's probably why I like the Mario and the FNAF movies so much. Maybe that means I'm just low IQ, but I digress. Looks like our time is coming to an end, folks. And that was another Dan Beans classic. I hope you enjoyed. Oh shoot, it's been a week, hasn't it? That's what I should have talked about, not Among Us. Well, goodbye.